For more on this, I want to bring in Senator Ed Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, you voted against confirming Neil Gorsuch. Now that you've seen Mitch McConnell deploy the nuclear option, the so-called nuclear option, do you have any regrets that Democrats opposed him?
Look, what Mitch McConnell and the Republicans did here was unprecedented. The Supreme Court is a special place in our country's history. And the ninth vote on the Supreme Court is the one who will be deciding all cases that are tied 4-4. That's Bush versus Gore. That's Citizens United. That's historic case after historic case. The Democrats reserved the Supreme Court for a 60-vote margin to ensure that whoever was in fact confirmed would reflect a full consensus in our country as to that person. What the Republicans have done is just completely destroy that. The Supreme Court is not like a sub-cabinet post. It's not like some local district court judge. This is, along with the presidency and the Congress, that is the constitutional structure in the country. And what the Republicans have done is to destroy that and that role that the Supreme Court should be playing for the foreseeable future.
Senator Markey, if the shoe and when the is on the other foot, do you expect Democrats to reinstitute the 60-vote rule? Can they, if it's such an important aspect to the Senate and confirming Supreme Court justices?
Well, when the Democrats return to the majority and capture the presidency, which we will, that day is going to arrive, we will restore the 60-vote margin. We will ensure that for the Supreme Court there is that special margin that any candidate has to reach, because that is essential to ensuring that our country has a confidence in those people who are nominated, rather than just someone who passes a litmus test. And let's remember this, Donald Trump promised that whoever he nominated would be able to pass a litmus test on gun control in order to make the NRA happy. He said that the nominee would have to pass a litmus test on Roe v. Wade, on women's health. And so you don't want anyone to be able to be confirmed just with a bare majority. You want to ensure that there are protections against extreme views being put on the Supreme Court.
Senator Markey, we're going to hold you to that promise, but let's turn now to Syria and the U.S. airstrikes. You called it a good moment for the president. Some of your colleagues said that those strikes were illegal, that he had to go to Congress first. If he wants to do any more of that, what will you need to see from this president in order to approve it on your end? And would you like him to go to Congress if he launches another missile down the line?
I think that it's clear that the president does not have a comprehensive plan in Syria. A single strike on an airbase in Syria is not a plan. It is a tactic and not a strategy. So what I want from the president is a complete understanding as to what he is going to do inside of Syria. From my perspective, he should ensure that Rex Tillerson, when he meets with his Russian counterpart in Moscow, says to him that the United States is now ready to impose tough, crippling sanctions on Rasa Baron Export, the arms exporter from Russia into Syria, and that we are going to demand that all of the chemicals be confiscated by the Russians from Assad, that the ceasefire that the Russians negotiated with the Iranians and the Turks be implemented, that humanitarian aid be distributed across Syria to anyone who needs it, and that the opposition party is brought to the table with the Syrian government so we can begin a diplomatic resolution of this problem. What I heard Sean Spicer say today is that the Trump philosophy is make America great again. Well, the only way that you're going to do that is if we put diplomacy first and not America first, a vague and completely unintelligible philosophy.
Trump doctrine, America first. That's what Sean Spicer said. Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts, appreciate your time, sir.